My name's Aaron Cooper. My farm is Cutfresh Organics in just southwest of Salisbury, Maryland in Wicomico County. And I farm, it's a family farm, been in the family for many generations, and I've taken over land from my dad and transitioned, gosh, it's probably been a 10-year period. I've a little over 400 acres. I do corn, soybeans, many different types of food grade wheat, oats, rye. I have generally a 3-year rotation. I'm starting to do a 4-year rotation where I've got some spring wheat, spring oats, and on one of those years, and then winter wheat and rye on another year, and then corn and full season soybeans and corn on the other years. So kind of a pretty diverse amount of different crops I grow to try to keep nutrient cycling going well and try to keep weed pressure down. So on where I do tillage on soybeans, I disc twice, and then after the second disking, I wait a few days to plant. So I hopefully get a little weed flush, plant the soybeans into the weed flush on 30-inch rows, and I come back within 3 days before the soybeans crack the ground, and I flame. I take a row crop flamer and I burn a band right on top of that soybean row. I don't flame the middles. And then a couple weeks later, I'll come back and do a first cultivation. I have a buffalo cultivator that works in, pretty good. It can work in a lot of residue. So because I only disc twice, I do have some residue left. So I do a first cultivation, and then I come back, a couple weeks later and do a second one. Hopefully I don't have to do a third one. This was an extra weedy year. I've pretty much have to do a third one on all the soybeans. And somewhere in between some of those cultivations, I'll start weed zapping, once the weeds are at least 6 inches above the soybeans canopy. And then, I'd hopefully only have to weed zap twice, but this year a lot of fields are getting 3 or 4 times just because there's so many weeds this year. But it's had pretty good results doing weed zapping twice. I'll probably have to do it one more time to get the final weeds that come through. And this is kind of late. These beans were replanted. They were a failed no-till experiment, and I had to disc it up and replant. So they were like pretty late, like July 20th planted. So normally I'd be kind of done my weed zapping by now, but we're going to be going probably 2 weeks from now. I can still get through them, and I'll hit the final weeds. There's nothing really competing with them right now. Like the weeds aren't much competition, but I'm trying to get rid of those seed heads. I don't want anything to go to seed this fall in there.